Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a video here for Dragon Ball Super Volume 23, written as always by Akira Toriyama and drawn by Toyotaru. This is leading up to Chapter 100. That's the final chapter of this book. How wild is that? And of course, like I talked about in my review for Volume 22, this is continuing and finally finishing Dragon Ball Super Superheroes movie arc. Now, very much like I talked about in Volume 22, there's a few changes, not really heavy changes because they still have to make the movie canon, but a couple of additions in there. Like the Goten and Trunks stuff, a little bit more focus on that, and I think that particular line, started back in Volume 21 with kind of a new prologue, prelude, whatever, to Volume 22 and the movie in general. A story involving Dr. Hedo and Trunks and Goten being the new Great Saiyaman X1 and X2. And I like that stuff. I actually think that the Great Saiyaman X1, X2 additions to this particular book make it a better story. And once again, like I talked about in my review for Volume 22, I think that obviously for people who don't know, I'm not a fan of Dragon Ball Super's movies. I think all three suck. I think the first two are improved in the anime and in the manga too. The little bit of it you get to see. But I also think that Superhero is improved here in the manga because of I hate the 3D CGI animation that they used for the movie. I think it's awful. I hope to God we never do that again in Dragon Ball history. But I suspect we will at some point, as much as I hate it, because it doesn't feel like Dragon Ball to me. And I think people liked it because of all the shiny colors. I'm convinced that's the case. But anyway, I think that this story worked better in the manga than it did in the movie. I stand on that. I like the little additions. I like some of the stuff like involving Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 in this particular adaptation of that movie. And I gotta tell you, by the end of it, I still don't accept certain things from the movie. I'm going to go ahead and talk about a couple of spoilers for anybody who doesn't know, who hasn't seen Dragon Ball Superhero. The Piccolo and Gohan new abilities, the new transformations, Orange Piccolo, which I think is so fucking lame, and Beast Gohan, which is cool looking, but also ridiculously coming out of nowhere, which I'm cool with Dragon Ball kind of branching off and doing new forms and stuff outside of Super Saiyan. As much as I'm not crazy about Super Saiyan God and like Ultra Instinct and all of that. I mean, it's cool. I like it. It looks nice, but it's kind of generic to me personally. But I like certain things, right? I think that Beast Gohan is cool looking, but just like in the movie, here it comes out of absolutely almost nowhere, and it's basically done in design and in Gohan's general costume and that Piccolo outfit that he wears here. It's all supposed to be just a new rendition of a throwback to the Cell Saga and Gohan, his transformation to Super Saiyan 2 and killing Cell. That's all it's supposed to be. And I really just could not possibly give less of a shit about that. If American authors of manga, comics, and especially comics too, because comics here in America, as much as I hate them and they hate me, we give them so much shit as fans for doing the same nostalgia bait over and over and over again. And Dragon Ball somehow gets the pass in Superhero for doing something that's already been done in the saga. Number one, because it's tighter. Number two, because it's been around a while but had a long-ass break from the end of Z to then GT, whether you count it as canon or not, all the way over from the end of GT to Super, right? There was a long break, decades of break, or a decade, something like that. Anyway, so I don't know if the break is what allows people to have this opinion, but now Daima did the thing it's done, and I'm not going to get into Daima just yet. I haven't watched it, so I haven't reviewed it yet, but obviously the spoilers are everywhere. And as excited as I am for certain things about Daima, the big one being the Goku stuff, I can't help but get irritated with American fans of anime and manga for defending the same old shit being done over and over again, and giving you an inch of progress in the story overall of Dragon Ball, but rehashing shit that we already did, specifically in the Cell Max superhero movie saga. It really annoys me, because Cell Max, people act like this is, nowadays people I know in real life act, like this is the best version of Cell because he's fucking red and gigantic. What are you smoking? Cell Max is so fucking lame, I can't stand it. I would rather have a new version of Cell of some sort. I would rather involve time travel again, involving future Trunks. I would literally rather do all of that than what we did here with the cloning thing and basically doing Cell all over again, introducing Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, which aren't that great to begin with, Dr. Hedo, which is not great to begin with. I really don't like this basically symbolic reenactment of the Cell saga literally all over again. I don't. And I think that it's obnoxious. I think it's in the way. I think superhero is so fucking lame and overrated. It's just like the super version of Broly. I just don't like it. There's a panel involving Broly at the end of this particular book, at the end of chapter 100, and I just don't like what they've done with Broly and Super in general. Maybe it'll get better, I don't know. I know there's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline that could be cool later on. Daima may do something with Broly, I don't know. But I'm interested to see what could happen of those things because I like Super overall and I've loved the Super manga so far. I don't regret reading this, obviously, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like Superhero is good. I'm just not. I would say this is one of the weakest arcs from the manga, in my opinion, what I've read of it anyway. I think that there's a lot of stuff previously, like the Granola arc and the Morrow arc, that are phenomenal. I mean, truly phenomenal. Morrow more so than Granola, but still, that just fits Dragon Ball so much better. It expands on the world, it expands on the universe. It feels like the kind of one-off movies we used to get from Dragon Ball. I love those two storylines, but this just doesn't land. It never will for me. Every time I've seen Superhero, the 2 times I've watched it, and now having to read through it, with the tiny little additions, those additions are nice. They make it better, but not enough to heal the wound, if you will, of how lame this shit is, or how sporadic Beast Gohan and Orange Piccolo are. With all that being said, though, is it a bad book? No, I wouldn't say that. I say it's a bad storyline, but the book has some things that make it a little bit more tolerable, to me personally. But that ain't gonna be for everybody. But if you're a hardcore lover of Superhero, absolutely read the manga adaptation of it for the last 3 volumes. I think you'd really get some good stuff out of it, but not a whole lot, to be honest with you. There's just a few additions, may improve the movie for you, on either side of hating it or loving it, but that's it. One of the things that makes it so bittersweet, Volume 24 is not coming out till March of next year, 2026, which makes me hurt deep, deep down in my soul. Because for anybody who doesn't remember, Chapter 103, which would be in that book, is the final Toriyama chapter that was ever done. Toyotaru runs everything now based on notes, from what we understand, that Akira left behind for him. It's going to be a very bittersweet volume. I know Daima was the last official thing he worked, but that was the final chapter. 103 was the final one that he did. And it's going to be so bittersweet, man. It's going to be so bittersweet. I heard Toyotaru is doing some good stuff, so I'm excited to see what he does. I know I'm really behind, obviously, on the storylines that are going on, but still, I don't know. I'm kind of sad about it. Does that make sense? As a grown-ass man, I've never met Toriyama in my whole life. But man, I love and respect that guy. I love Dragon Ball Z so much. I love GT. I love Super. I just adore that guy. He was such a massive part of my childhood. I made my whole video kind of tribute to him back when he passed away and that news came out. But that next book is going to be rough. And it sucks that it's going to be so far away, dude. That's like a good 7 or 8 months away until I can read it. But still, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what we're finally going to get into. If I remember correctly, I think there was a couple of filler chapters, if I remember, and then maybe like the beginning of a tournament arc or something, which I love about Dragon Ball. Any tournament stuff, any big bad monster coming to Earth storyline or to Namek, I'm totally down with. I love shit like that. But I'm ready to get back to Goku and Vegeta, an expansion on what they've been doing in their training, which, by the way, at the end of Chapter 100, we kind of pick up back on Goku and Vegeta and what they've been doing, and I got such a good laugh out of that. I loved it. It was really, really cool stuff. So, anyway, Dragon Ball Super Volume 23, still bittersweet for me because of the superhero adaptation, but do I recommend it? Yeah, if you're the right person, if you love Dragon Ball Super, if you love the superhero movie especially, this is for you. If you don't, well, it's not going to be the best thing ever, despite the new additions of moments and scenes and lines. But anyway, what do you think about it? Are you excited for Volume 24? I'm sure you've probably already read it if you're watching this review, but maybe you haven't. I don't know. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.